Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Then celebrate it with or without champagne.
Hi everyone, welcome. We are back talking about all things related to menopause. And of course, I'm having technical difficulties already. StreamYard is freezing on me and I don't know why, my goodness. But I'm so happy that you all are here. Let me just, oh my goodness, you see? Yeah, and it's freezing again, but that's all right. That's how LinkedIn is sometimes. So welcome everyone. I'm not seeing the chat yet because Annie is having some tech difficulties of his own. He's restarting his computer. But I'm so happy to have you all here and so happy to have our guest speaker here that we're going to talk everything about how to be a better leader, especially in this time of midlife and menopause. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and I see people are restarting on my screen. Oh gosh. Okay, you're back. Hi. So welcome, Noni. I know people are starting to stream in. I probably have to use my phone to see the comments because yeah, LinkedIn is doing this thing again. But let me give Dr. Marcia a couple minutes to introduce herself, talk about all the books she's written. She's written another one. That was Sunday, I think, was the launch. How many books are you up to now?
I think that would be number 7.
Oh my goodness. I have some catching up to do. But go ahead and let the people know who you are. Let me mute.
Well, most persons know me as Dr. Marcia Thomas. I'm a Christian leadership consultant, life purpose coach, and I really help women who are burnt out or who are transitioning, who are weary, or those who are just uncertain or confused to just align themselves to their life, their leadership, their path, using their unique gifts and profiting from it in a very joyful way, but most of all, find peace resonating with what they love to do and what they're good at. I also help students who are doing their master's and doctoral degrees to complete their dissertation. I'm a motivational speaker, and of course, I'm an author. I started out with writing, first of all, because I did a research that is the only one that was done in my country, which is Jamaica, as an educator in a system and talking about rural schools. I was an administrator for some time, and I actually did a research that talks about how to improve student achievement in disadvantaged rural settings. And there is where I wrote 3 textbooks: language arts, Adventures in Primary Language Arts, book 1, 2, and 3, where I place it in a way that students could critically think, do their comprehension, their phonics, the grammar and conventions, and so forth. And so those were 3 books. And then I wrote another book that talked about surviving, a survival kit, groanings of rural schools. And then I wrote my Leader Like You. And now my new book is My Faith Looks Up. And soon I will be putting out a leader's seed, and also I Want My Peace Back. So I have those 2 coming on stream also. It seems as if Lisa has. I thought you dropped off. Yes.
No. I think Annie's he put you as the main speaker. That was so wonderful, and I've been seeing the work you've been doing, and that is why I wanted you to be a guest speaker today, because I know your focus is on leadership, on women leadership, on women empowerment, and supporting women, especially with this time of life where things can be so challenging.
Self-care, yeah.
And so I'm seeing the comments coming in. Sometimes it's saying LinkedIn user, so forgive me. I'm seeing you put a name is great because LinkedIn is doing its thing. So welcome again, everyone. My name is Lisa Favek. I'm a dietitian, educator, author, and coach for women's issues, but I really focus on perimenopause and menopause because there's still a lot of stigma attached to it. We don't talk enough about it. There's not enough research on it. And my passion and purpose moving forward is to just keep talking about these topics, talk about the things that affect us so that women are more empowered, they can advocate for their own health, and the people who are in our lives can understand what we're going through because we don't live in a bubble. We have partners, children, co-workers, friends, and everything we do, there's a trickle effect, right? A ripple effect, sorry, where we affect each other. So the more we can understand about each other and understand our health issues, the better we can support each other. And we took a little break for the holidays. I was supposed to start in August, but had some health challenges that I'm still dealing with. But had to start back because people kept asking, when are we starting? When are we starting? So it's like, okay, let's give the people what they want. And I'm so happy to be here with Dr. Marcia and with any. Are you back? My trusty
Unless I
co-host,
do what I
and I
do.
guess I could call you producer of the show. There
Yes.
you are.
Your screen doesn't move unless I press buttons, Lisa. Of course I'm back.
Yes, I know, I know. I know you're busy in the background. But
Yes.
let the very
Good
few
to have you
people know
back.
who you are.
Good to have you back. So we
Yeah.
have missed you, all of us on LinkedIn. So,
Yes, and I
enough
want to
time.
say hi to Paulette. I'm hoping that she comes,
Let's
she's
go
able to
through all of
join
them.
back
Let's
soon.
go. I don't know why LinkedIn is doing LinkedIn user on most people. I don't get
Yes,
it.
I know, but thank goodness they're putting their names
Yeah.
because they know the the LinkedIn gremlins are doing its thing.
Yeah. So welcome, Mosh. We see you, my friend. Glad you're here. See the amazing Jackie Holberg. I was on a
Hmm.
show last night.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
watch the replay.
Always a good show with Jackie.
Hmm.
So, that's Mosh again. To Linda, all the way in Canada. Glad you're
Yes, hi
here.
Linda.
That's you. I don't want to show that really. Yeah.
You could skip, move on.
Welcome, Christy. Of course, we see you as well. And apparently, so
And
Natalie
oh
is
God,
here.
my
So
camera's gone.
Natalie is one of the LinkedIn users, I imagine. So the delectable
All back.
Mr. Kenny is here as well. Hopefully, he's in a good mood, not in Kenny mood, not in Kenny mood.
Kenny, yes, yes. We only want Kenny here.
Yeah. So, welcome, Nick. How you doing? Glad you're
Hi Nick,
here.
my fellow Trini.
Yes, I'm not going to put my comment up. Yes, there is any. I'm here. I'm here, Jackie. Every so often. I like to hide, as you well know, right? So yeah. So glad you're here. Should I talk now? Tell him what I do. I, I,
Yes, please.
I don't even know what I do anymore, Lisa. I'm
Well, you
totally.
do so many things. I don't know when you sleep.
I've confused myself. No, so today I've spent some time helping my clients write their book. That's Yolanda's book. And as we're launching Scott's book, Before We Die, our final chapter tomorrow. So please do join us. The book is 99 cents. So do join us for that launch party at 4 p.m. my time, at 11 a.m. Eastern. Yeah. And then my trip to Ghana on Friday. That fills me with excitement and fear at the same. No, it's more excitement. I practice what I'm going to say to to the kids in Ghana to try and inspire them, but have to live their purpose. So I guess public speaking is something I just added to my repertoire. Well, I will do on Sunday. Again, you're welcome to buy tickets. If you want to, I don't know if you want to have a laugh, if you want to enjoy the messages that we're going to be giving, then please do come along. You can join remotely, so you can watch it on screen. And I need every bit of support I can get. So if you can give us a round of applause, I'll take it, right? But those are the things I'm doing really. So of course, I just did a post about Paulette's book that we've just sent a huge batch of them to Uganda to help Ugandan kids. So it is all that, it's helping them write the book, publish the book, sell the book, make the book a guaranteed bestseller on Amazon. I guarantee Scott's book will be a bestseller tomorrow. I mean, I don't just mean bestseller. I mean #1 bestseller. That's what my clients pay for. So I sure look forward to the joy that brings. Anyway, and apart from that, of course, I do the event stuff. So if you want to put events on, don't know what to do, give me a call. I'll help you. At least I've been doing this for how long now? 2 years? Longer? I think
I
it's at
know
least
our 2-year anniversary is coming up in a few weeks.
that area.
But I was counting the other events as well. So
You should do something.
I was going to ask, are we going to celebrate?
We
of
should celebrate.
course,
Yes.
I'm a Trini. Any excuse to party.
Send me some food, please. We can eat like I did with Christiana. We can eat on screen,
Yes,
but you
yes.
have to send the food.
Well, there's a Trini shop that opened in the UK in London, so I
You know
can
how far
direct you
London
to it.
is? London's as far as coming to you in Trinidad.
Oh my
Really,
gosh. All right.
it's 5 hours away each way.
All
So
right. I'll find a place that's closer.
thank you. You do that. If I can eat somewhere, I'm always happy, right? So
Yes.
you're welcome, Dr. Leslie. So what was your show yesterday? Yes, it's Monday, right? Your Think and Grow Rich or Think and Grow series. I don't know whether why are you coming up with someone's coming up with LinkedIn user, right? I don't know who that is. Okay, that's probably Natalie.
Natalie, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything is coming up LinkedIn news on my side. It's
There-
LinkedIn
there- there- there-
gremlins as usual. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a problem somewhere. So Chris says hello, Dr. Leslie.
Yeah.
All right, my friends, I'm gonna hide quietly and let the people who know more than I do have the
Well, this
conversation.
is about leadership, so you have a great inputs as well. So don't go too far.
I'll, I'll,
I
I'll,
will be
I'll, say,
calling
I'll,
you.
say this. I'll say this. If you want to join the studio, my friends, you can. I'm going to put a link in the comments on the event page. Otherwise, if you want the link sent to you directly to your DM, if you want to join us and ask a question, make a comment, share some of your wisdom, you're more than welcome.
Yes.
That's enough for me. Right.
All
Back
right.
to
So
you,
Leah,
Lisa.
let's get the conversation started because I'm excited about this one. So I was reading some of these studies, and they were saying that I think it was out of the UK, almost 40% of the workforce are women of menopausal age. And we had something similar done in Trinidad and Tobago, where I'm from, where they had similar results. It's about 40%. And that is a pretty big number considering all of the health challenges we go through, all of the other challenges we go through. We're supporting our family, we're probably taking care of aging parents, children are going off to college, and we're really trying to figure out, okay, what's next for me? But then we have all these symptoms of menopause. And if you haven't been to my show before, there are over 100 symptoms that you can experience on your menopausal journey. That's from perimenopause onto postmenopause. And we are in menopause until we die. So you can be in your 70s and 80s and still experiencing symptoms. But that can affect different aspects of our lives. And one in particular is how we lead, how we show up at work, how we interact with colleagues, with supervisors. And a lot of women around this time, because they don't feel supported, they actually quit their jobs. They leave their high paying jobs and not really knowing what's next for them, but the stress of it is so much, they just leave. And to me, that's very sad. And of course, it affects your pockets, the company's pockets, and I think we need to have more of these conversations to support women around this time and help with, okay, how can I show up to work? How can I have these conversations at work? And that's why I wanted to have Dr. Marcia here. Dr. Marcia, I don't know if in your practice, if women in menopause show up, but I know you deal with women, as you said earlier, in midlife. So I wanted to find out, I would talk about some of these symptoms that affect us in a bit, but I wanted to find out, in your experience, what do they come to you saying initially?
Well, for I first must say I am very honored to be having this discussion because self-care and soul care for women is very important to me. And I am finding that our experiences that God gives us, it's really to prepare us to help. It's a part of our assignment, that is a part of our purpose and our mission. When I started my journey as a leader of an organization, I was in my 20s, but my co-workers were in their 40s and 50s. There were some that was near retirement, and a lot of them were women. And I found that my energy became a tool of intimidation because I am an energy bunny. And even I'm in my 50s now, to my early 50s, and even that makes me an energy bunny. And I find that menopause affects women in a number of ways that can be overlooked by many persons whom they work with, and can also become a double-edged sword because people expect you to operate a particular way because you are in menopause. And if you don't, they feel that something is wrong, or they ascribe every disrespect or condescension that they mete out to you, and your response to protect yourself or to safeguard yourself as an excuse to say that you're experiencing menopause. And there are some leaders, I have to put this in, females who are using menopause as an excuse to be unkind and rude and irresponsible, and also, how would I put it now? Ill treat their co-workers or their team members or those that are below them. And they give this excuse that they are going through life changes and challenges, and that they're not managing, or they're overwhelmed, or they get highly sensitive. There are also individuals in the workplace who, shocking as it may seem, feel that menopause is so overwhelming that they must leave their jobs. It is such a big life change, and it is touted in such a way that it is not manageable. And the adverse effect it has on some persons, because they overanalyze the situation, they rush to leave their positions. And those persons who come to me in my practice, because I deal with women 40 and over, and as leaders, they come with several issues. Some may have issues in their relationships that push them into a divorce or a relocation. They also have issues with family members, and so they need to find themselves. I find that women who carry too much for too long, also the loneliness of having their children leave them, the fact of not spending quality time with the aging partner, husband that is, find that it takes a strain on them, and it increases the stress that comes from menopause. I also have individuals who find that it is at this time that they have to change, they have to start over in life. Some of them experience death, some of them experience a pivot because they have to transition, they have to change their jobs. And it happens at a time, midlife. And so that becomes a midlife crisis for them. And they have to find their bearings, and they have to get in alignment. They have to reconnect to their voice. They have to reconnect to their why, their ambition, their self worth. And so sometimes I have to pull people back in that way. I also find that there are some persons in menopause, and this might be on the other end of the continuum, who feels that at menopause it is a change of life in all areas of their lives, and so they want to do what they feel they were created to do, what they feel they love to do. They want to focus on themselves, and they want to just do what suits them, what pleases them, what makes them happy. And I have to steer them in that way, in a very balanced and mature way, and in a way that also allows them to include those who are important to them, while serving themselves. And so those are some of the persons who have come for coaching in relation to clarifying their purpose, finding their faith, finding their voice, finding their ambition, reconnecting to their compelling vision, finding that internal alignment, and also trying to find a format that they can use that fits into their mindset and so on to carry them through and give them the courage to move forward in their walk, in their decision, in their vision, whatever they decide that they want to do. There are some persons also who want to remain in their job if their job has become toxic because of ageism, and persons are forcing them out. The crop that is coming in is a little younger, and they are not as respectful as of the knowledge and the expertise, and they do not appreciate the value that somebody with a certain age brings into the mix. I've also had persons in menopause who had to take a break from their job and they are not able to fit back in. They are made to feel that they are outsiders. And it is a challenge for them. And they now want to walk away, they want to pivot, they want to transition. Or those who want to remain need some support and an accountability partner to help them. And so those persons, I help them by having them enroll in my program that I call a relief curriculum, or wanting to become a calm CEO. So I give them the strategies based on the unique situations that will carry them there. I want to say, however, that
That's if you, I could interject for 1 minute. I don't want you to go ahead because you said so much there. I wanted to unpack a little bit of what you said, what you shared. So, and this is why I talk about menopause being a unique experience and based on the individual. Because for the clients I see, I haven't really had any of them use menopause as an excuse for bad behavior. So, but like I said, everyone is different. But what I have found is that strangely, the men in the organization are more empathetic to the women who are going through their challenges. And the women who went through menopause before, because they didn't have much of a challenge or they pushed through whatever they were going through, they were like, okay, well, I was able to do it. Why can't you? And they're not very supportive. So some of the things that affect women, you have the physical symptoms. And yes, we always talk about those hot flashes, but the joint pain, the digestive issues, migraines, there are a lot of physical issues that cause real pain. And depending on the job you have, let's say you're working in a hot kitchen and you have to stand for hours, it could become really, really challenging. You have those emotional shifts, you have the mood swings, the anxiety, the depression, chronic depression. Sometimes it leads to suicidal thoughts, irritability, fatigue, and then those mental cognitive issues where the brain fog, the sleep disruption that causes you to forget everything, to lose confidence, weight gain or rapid weight loss that causes you to lose confidence and in your sexuality and in who you are. You feel like you're in a different body a lot of times. And this could be really challenging for women. So a lot of the women I talk to either consider leaving their jobs or just leave. I've had people like literally just pick up and walk out because they couldn't take it anymore. And it's because they weren't getting supports at home with their family. So it wasn't just one thing, it led up to that. So it really points to the fact that every woman's journey is unique. And we can't look at other people's expectations on what menopause should be and how you should react. I know Dr. Marcia talked about that as well. I thought it was an important point. Every woman's journey is unique, and having these conversations, hopefully we're spreading that awareness that every woman's journey is unique. 99% of the times the women aren't faking. They're not getting support from doctors, from partners. As you talked about children leaving, so that they're losing a sense of self. What's next for me? And again, this is why we need to have these conversations. Um, when we talk
there's
about
a
the Sorry?
Go ahead. I was saying there's a startling statistic that is out there now that talks about the women leaders who they find that 14% of women leaders, executives or CEOs tend to navigate divorce at this time and so they because they pour so much into work and in their leadership and menopausal season they have to make that adjustment because the demands on them have not been minimized in any way. Their expectations are also great from team members and from supervisors and from boards. And so they might find that they're, because of the brain fog, because of the mood swings, because of the conditions that are out there, the emotional realities and physical realities, the compound effect of the emotional and physical realities. Sometimes they mistake this for burnout or lack of support, and they push a little harder to keep the edge, the achievements that they have. So they rest in the past achievements. And this makes them want to have that validation because that is the external validation. And they pay so much attention to that that they miss the attention that should be paid in their home circle. The partner feels isolated or abandoned because many times when they come home, the drain of having to push so hard in that setting creates an issue where they are not able to function efficiently in the home setting. And family members suffer, their partners suffer. And at that time, there is the idea that because she's not supported at work, that she's not supported at home. And there is this breakdown of the relationship that many times is unconscious until they discover that they have become strangers in this period. And divorce increases in by 14%, the statistic says.
Yeah, I think it's different in different countries because I saw it being higher somewhere else. But yeah, so divorce is very high around this time. A woman either realize they're with the wrong person. Um, a lot of times, women before menopause, we put up with a lot of things that when we get into menopause, we realize, okay, I'm getting too old for this. I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. Or because they don't get the right support, the right counseling, they don't even realize they're in menopause, and that's what's causing these thoughts. So you're right. So a lot of separation, a lot of divorce happens around the time of midlife and menopause. And again, this is why we need to have these conversations. Annie, are you there?
One day I'll say no, and then I wonder what you do.
I'll cry. I will cry so hard.
I've escaped. I'm free. Now, of course, we have to work
Never.
on Sharita, right?
Yes.
We have to work on Sharita. I know. Work on Sharita. What time is it in the Philippines? I wonder.
It's 5:30 a.m. because we're exactly 12
Wow.
hours apart. Yeah. So hi,
That's
BFF. Thank
love.
you for
That's
joining.
real love, right? That's proper love. That is.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing anyone's show at 5:30 in the morning unless I haven't been to sleep yet.
That's real love.
Sharita,
Okay.
Sharita, welcome,
Um,
welcome, welcome. All right.
Annie, I wanted to ask you a question because I've heard you talk about your wife going through menopause and wanting a divorce, and you're asking her like, why? What's going on? So, without sharing too much of your personal life, because I like people to hear the other side of it, how the partner feels, and well, you're the only man that's on the stage right now, right? So lucky you. And just to share a bit about her, if she experienced any challenges at work, um, if yeah,
You never. That's why you never. I don't know. She does high-powered jobs. She runs care homes, and she runs care homes.
yeah, I know it's very stressful.
You
Yeah,
know, companies. If that makes sense. So there's more than one home. Um, no, she's ordinarily nice. Good mood, good mood, and I've been sometimes the person I know, and then suddenly, everything became a burden, like Dr. Marcia said. Everything became a struggle. You know, I'm saying even the little things. What's what's the favorite cry that we hear? You left the toilet seat up. I'm saying, yeah, that's not that bad. I've been doing it for years. It's not a reason to get divorced now, is it? No, really not. There's, the kettle's empty. It's like, and So just little things suddenly become a huge problem. And I guess for me, I was shocked because it's like I said, these are not. There's nothing new. It just seems to be a sudden turn. That's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah.
You think my wife's gone mad. Literally, she must have gone mad. But
Yeah,
then
agreed. But for the woman, it feels as if it does that word that phrase that you use, the world is going to end. It does feel because of the raging hormones and stuff like that. It does feel like it's you're going to break. You're going to have a mental breakdown and destroy the home. So the little things I've had clients that wanted to divorce their husbands for breathing too loudly or chewing too loudly or clipping their toenails and leaving it wherever. Something that is minor that they would have overlooked before. And it has become such a devastating thing that they want to leave their husbands. And that's why I don't just counsel the woman, I counsel the family, because it's a time for the partner to understand, okay, it's not really about you, it's what she's going through. And she at that moment she really can't help it. But going back and apologizing and talking about it, if you have this good relationship, that's what's about. And some months ago, you talked about not waiting for menopause to have the good communication, that it should start, even before you get married. So picking the right partner, having these conversations over and over, that helps. But sometimes, life doesn't go like that. We get married for different reasons or find a partner for different reasons. And then when we get into menopause, we realize, okay, maybe I'm not with the right partner, which can happen. And that's, you're within your right to do that. But we need to have these conversations again.
There is also a flip side. Oh, okay, go ahead, Annie.
You're on mute.
Yeah, no, Dr. Marcia, I said ladies first. I'll let you go. You have
Yeah,
more important.
I want to look at this side that many persons don't look at also, Lisa, and it is that as leaders, women who are leaders in their organization, CEO and so on, or manage teams tend to, over time, especially when they are approaching menopause, well, in my experience, and those who I speak to, they tend to carry that into their relationship. So instead of make requests to their partners, they tend to come off as demanding or commanding the partner to do what they are required to do. And so it comes off as giving instruction to the way you would give it to your team, or not being as considerate enough because you're always on the go. And so when things don't happen the way you would have wanted it to happen, instead of being a wife, you become a leader or a manager in your home. And so that also creates a greater irritability, especially if your husband is aging and he himself is going through brain fog, or really having a slow time getting out of the blocks today, or if he or she is really exhausted, if he's exhausted, sorry, and also wants some quality time and attention. Because I find that many leaders tend not to focus on their self-care and their soul care. They miss their doctor's appointment and so on in an effort to meet deadlines and so on at work, especially if it is a high-end job like a CEO or an executive or a middle manager, because dealing with people can become combustible and cumbersome if at menopause, more so than ever. But who suffers, I find, is not so much the team members that you shout at and then later apologize and don't take it. Some don't take it so personally. I find that the home circle suffers when you get real irritable, or you go crazy, or you become or appear to be unfeeling because the pressure is so great. And I find that I agree with you that partners must take the time out to pay attention. Here is where greater soul care and self-care is required. So what I say to leaders that are at this point in their lives who are not understanding menopause, because some persons feel the changes and fear losing control in such a way that they misunderstand, and they spend money off the credit card to look the way they would normally look, to look different, to go to take up certain habits that were never habits, in an effort to reform and to transform themselves back into what they were, and so on. And those create issues in the family. When a woman or a leader is going through menopause and has to change the diet for whatever reason, they have to also consider the family members, and they have to make adjustments so that everyone benefits. And I find that one of the greatest drawbacks of leaders, female leaders, is how they transition in their homes, how they begin to make demands and give instructions instead of collaborating and working it all together. So you need to take a pause when you find that your relationship in your what really matters, your relationship is struggling or is taking a nosedive. Take some time out from your job, move into listening to each other, soul and mind, and make sure that you focus on hearing what is being said.
And I agree 100% with you, Dr.
Yeah.
Marcia. This is the little said things. I think, what you just said is little said. There's an expectation that the world will just fall over. Because your wife's in menopause, then you're gonna be beating around the house mentally, literally. But no one talks about that. I guess as a man, if I came home every day angry and swearing and cussing, everyone here would say, right, leave him. He's gone mad, right? But when a woman menopause does it, we're like, oh well, yeah, that's it. Deal with it. Do it again tomorrow.
Going through menopause, yes.
Right, so that's how it feels, and it does feel like suddenly, they say the ordinarily nice, gentle person suddenly becomes the boss, a military ruler. So I don't know whether it's just work, but my luck was that I lived when I was young. I lived a little foster carers, and my foster mother was in menopause, and I look back now. But my foster dad it was just what I've learned to be, which is, yes, darling, whatever you say, you're right. And just Lisa hates me saying that, but literally that's my strategy. Yeah, you're right.
Hate it.
Whatever you want, whatever you say, yeah, we've done it again, even though we've done nothing, but it's fine. The other way is what I guess I would have done when I was younger, which is overreact. How dare you say that? And we had conversations on these events every so often. So I've learned to just be peaceful myself. So that's my answer. I let you find my peace, and then survive when we get together.
But I think again it depends on how you want to handle it. Everyone is different, but you have that awareness that it's not really her, it's the menopause that's doing it. So you're able to rationalize and say, okay, if in this moment it's better to say, okay, you're right, okay, darling, no problem. If that's what it takes, then I have no problem with that, because we need to find a way to coexist and deal with whatever we're dealing with. But we need to have the conversation at some point that, okay, when you come home, you're bringing this stuff from home with you and bringing it in the home and not leaving it at the door. And that idea of self-care is so important, because, Dr. Marcia made a good point. I've had several clients where they're in that high-paying job and they are the leader, and sometimes you do have to raise your voice or be, when we become assertive, people say, okay, we're being aggressive. But if a man does it, it's okay, right? But we take that same A-type attitude and bring it home. And I've had, when we're talking with the children, sometimes, mommy, you're shouting for no reason. And the woman doesn't hear it because she's accustomed with the same tone at work, 8 hours a day, and she's just talking the same way. And it's only when her children raised it or her partner raised it, she's like, again, having that conversation, being open to criticism, being open to having feedback. They're like, okay, I didn't realize I was doing it. And it's only when they said it that she made a conscious decision. Okay, when I get home, I'm going to take a few deep breaths in the car and have a different mindset when I walk through the door. And if I'm still stressed and I need to have, okay, I need an hour to myself, I will let them know that. I will communicate that. I'm not in the right frame of mind right now. I had something happen today. Give me an hour. Only when they started to do that, and then the woman started to include that self care. And it could be as simple as just lying down in the bed in the dark, breathing, or listening to some music. It doesn't have to be, this idea of a bubble bath, and it doesn't have to be anything grand. It could just be lying down in the bed, breathing, and just trying to calm and trying to get rid of whatever happens at work. It may be journaling, it may be meditation, yoga, whatever it is works for the person. And sometimes we need to try different things. And 1 month, this doesn't work. Okay, let's try something else to find what is the best self-care for the person. But again, it's having that conversation and having that awareness. Okay, this is what's going on. I need to change it.
You can also have what I call transition routines. You see, those transition routines are very important. And you start from your driving out of your workplace if you're a leader. So you might find that one of the things that balances you is keeping your screensaver must be something that gives you peace and joy. Start it right there. Make sure it is a positive thought or something, because you have to become aware when things are changing for you in your mind and in yourself. Pay attention to it, because the fear can drive you under. And the fear can make you very defensive, especially as a leader. And you wonder what I mean when I say fear. How does fear come into it? The fear of losing control, the fear of your hair falling out, the fear of getting too fat and having been told that your tummy is too big, the fear of not remembering, the fear of not meeting a deadline. Those things destroy leaders in menopause, and that's a reality. What you cannot afford for it to destroy your relationship. So your partner should really become your bulldozer, the loader. And you must have the relationship where he can say what is burdening him on that day, what got him so angry, what pissed him off, etc. And you must be able to say the same thing. What I know that some persons do is they call them from work to say, this happened at work today, what do you think? I say, change your screensaver. I also say there might be have a song that you use to pull you back, a song that pulls you back. So you play it while you're going home, and you have that. It changes your mindset, it changes your psychic of your spirit. When you get home, don't put your handbag in your living room, on your dining table. Take it out of your way. Don't take home things with you either that will remind you of work. Don't take home work. Rome wasn't built in a day. And you have to understand that if you drop down dead tomorrow, they might just have a minute of silence. So whatever you can't do today, you leave it for tomorrow. You don't take it home with you. And you also don't keep on your work clothes. Change into something comfortable and cozy, and cook the meals that two of you like to eat. If your husband is out and you came in, it was a tense day and so on, fatigue can make you want to go into bed. You must now have that mindset where you look at how you can make nutritious meals very quickly and very simply also, because some of us are set in the traditional way. In the Caribbean, we cook very heavy when we go home in the afternoons. We don't believe in salads and those types of things. And so you have to learn to make those adjustments and so on, especially if you're not a vegan, because it's easier for some of us. Because your diet also helps you to work. When I got into that institution and I had so many persons over 50, I had an aging population when I just started out. I had to give them those types of personal development tricks. So you had persons who had diabetes and a few other issues. Because I'm a vegan and I have certain herbs and so that I use for myself, I introduced those things to them. I had potlucks where I cook and brought and because I was, of course, much younger, or I had persons bringing those things and I gave them treats and so on. It made it a little easier. It changed their life and so on. And then I complimented a lot of persons. Sometimes, as when wives get a little older, husbands no longer compliment them. They find themselves saying to them, you're putting on too much weight, or you need to do this, or you need to change that, in a way that you take them for granted. But if you value them, and if you show them, if they're going out and you say that color doesn't suit you today, you want to go at your best, and so wear your blue dress, because it tells them that you're observing. But some men, handling their issues too, they don't observe, they are not as caring. The wife, some of them also wants, the wife is, they're at home today, they didn't go out, they took a low day, they took a break, but they didn't cook dinner. And you're coming from a hectic job and so on. And when you come, you're going to have to put those things down and you have to cook dinner. Sometimes they can surprise you by cooking dinner or saying, let's go somewhere economical, of course. So those are some of the transition routines that you need to follow as a leader also that is experiencing menopause.
No, again, so all that makes perfect sense to me. Sean is here. Can I bring him up, or are we not sort of bringing people? Lisa.
No, you
hello,
can. You
Ashley.
can. And I saw Jay had an
Excellent.
interesting question in the.
He can come on. He can save me. So I'm glad he's here. No. So let me welcome people, and then I'll share what I want to share. Then I'll let Sean speak for sure. April, welcome. Long time, April. Where you been? Glad you're here, though. Jay's got a great question. We'll come to that in a second, I'm sure. Yeah. So, welcome, though, Jay. Great to have you here always. Wendy, we see you too, superstar. It's another amazing learning event. What a powerhouse panel. Well, Lisa and Dr. Marcia. Me and Sean are just here to try and get some answers, right? We try our best. But Dr. Marcia, I think that what you're saying, it sounds like the little things, but I think there's the big things. So on the food side, I guess I just decided I'm going to do it myself. Because I do what I do, and I know what I like to eat. Most of you cooking myself, rather than waiting someone to come and cook my food like I used to when I was stupid and young. Now I cook my own food. My son is even getting that way too. So I think that it helps to do the things like you say that at least take the pressure off your partner. I want to comment on clothes, but I think you do have to keep giving compliments and look like you mean it. Yes. I actually do mean it as well.
So, look like you mean it.
Yeah, that's my thing.
How about just mean it?
I said that just now, right? Yeah. I think the challenge is this: at the beginning, no one knows what's going on. There suddenly comes a day, and you think, "Wow, where's that come from?" But I think with time, we will learn to adjust. And as I said, I think my wife goes for a massage every so often. I don't know how often. I'm saying she does, right? She does the self-care things. We're quite happy for her to do her thing. She has her quirks. My son hates it, but I'm like, whatever, let her be. It's not for she collects random stuff. It's not random stuff. She's a Halloween freak now. So Halloween just dictates our lives. The way you never used to, but that's her thing. She collects she collects skeletons and all sorts of crazy coffins. You're like, what's that doing here again? But I say, I'm not one to fight. I'm just like, let her be. You say joy, rock with it.
Yeah, if it brings her joy, then it does not matter.
Yeah, let her be, right? And this is how I say, of course, she actually she's changed her diet slightly. She does. Let's say she does more of the self-care things than probably that she ever used to do. I think I saw one of your posts recently about exercise a bit less. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. I say again, I think that's something that I think you learn these things along the way, right? It doesn't come naturally. Say on day one, you don't know any of these things, but with time, we'll learn to adjust. We'll learn to do better and do differently. So Christiana, I see you now. So I don't know why everyone's LinkedIn user today, Christiana. So don't worry about that. Glad you're here though. So I'm in a miscarriage and baby loss expert. Sean, how are you doing? Thanks for coming to save me. I was trying to tell them that I sent you the link. That's why I put your comment on screen and then I left it. But the mic is yours, my friend.
Well, first off, let me say thank you to Dr. Lisa, or at least I don't know if it's doctor or not.
It is Dr. Lisa. It's Dr. Lisa.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not. Right. Please ignore any. It's really not. He's going to get me in Lisa, trouble now.
I appreciate being on your show and that you're spreading the news on this, because it is a topic, like Annie said, as a husband, and you're watching your wife go through this and you're going, what the heck? My wife actually wrote an article on this, how often young girls are given all the instructions about the start of menopause and puberty. There's all this talk about it, but this topic is something that nobody talks about, or very few people talk about. And it's just as impactful on a woman's life as the beginning. For me, I've learned grace, right? When I look at her and she's reacting from the hormonal shifts and all of that, I'm like, that's not her. That's her body. That's biology. It's, we're partners. We work together. We talk through things. Sometimes she comes to me and she's like, I have a question. I go, okay, coach hat or husband hat? Because we have that agreement. Like, she's like, I need a coach. Okay, I'll be your coach. When do I get to switch back to husband? And it's lovely to see Dr. Marcia. I get to talk to her all the time, but I don't usually get to see her. So that's my 2 bits for now.
I just love that coach hat or husband hat. Yeah. I thought that was really nice. And that, I think that way of communicating what can I do to support you now, basically, I think that is the important part. And I know some men and maybe some women may think that women can control themselves in the moment. They really can't. If you're struggling with 60, 70 symptoms at one time, you really can't control what your body is doing unless you get some sort of support, whether it's from medication or from, lifestyle, but those habits take a while to get to work. It really is in the moment. You really don't know what you're doing and you're in that moment. But I think that word you said, grace, is so important. Understanding, okay, this is not her, this is the hormones. You just have to let those hormones sort of settle down. And when she's not like that anymore, then you can have the conversation, but give her grace in that moment. Let her, if it's flying off the handle, the rage, the crying, just let her have her moments and give her grace. And when it's over, then you have the conversation. So I thought that was really important. And then asking, that coach hat or husband hat is basically saying, how can I support you right now? I think that's really important. And this is why we continue to have these conversations, because some men think, okay, it's menopause, maybe she just needs another fan or AC, right? But it's so much more than that. I'm not assuming to know what will support, and just asking her any moment, what can I do? What do you need me to do right now? I think that was just lovely. So thank you so much for sharing that.
I think so too. And what stood out to me is the maturity. Some people think that maturity goes with age, but I find that age tends to walk alone in many of the instances. And the point that I would want to pull out for leaders is that a lot of times when female leaders are going through menopause, of course, there is an issue in the workplace that at certain age they really should be at home taking care of their husbands and their grandchildren. But when men age and go up to 70, they are fine wine, and institutions can't manage without them, instead of having that balance. So the maturity there for me is important. And also, menopausal women and leaders, especially CEO and executives, are not to tie their identity to their performance. When you do that and the stress comes with the menopause, it becomes more overwhelming, and the self-doubt comes in at that time. You question yourself, you second guess, you lose sight of your value and your self-worth. And so when that happens, when you feel that when you find yourself tying your identity to your title, your responsibility, your roles, or your performance, that is the time, that is the wake-up call to say to you, you are losing yourself. And so you need to take the steps, whatever they are, to find back yourself. And one of the ways I suggest to my clients is that you do what you love and what you're good at. Start with that. And so if you love to bake, if you love to make, test yourself with dishes and so on. If you like to go to the beach, if you like to sing, if you like to spend quiet time reading, do that. Because you have to nourish your soul to reconnect to your voice and to your self-worth.
Yeah, asking yourself what brings you joy. As simple as that. What brings you joy? And some of my clients don't even know what brings them joy because they've spent their lives tied to that job for so long. And you talked about that, performance. What am I producing at work? And that becomes their identity, that they don't know how to switch off. And we have to remember, okay, we're not going to be in the job forever unless you're self-employed. You're not going to be in that job forever. Okay, when you get to 60, when you get to 7, what is the plan? What do you want to do next? Because life doesn't end at 60. So what is the next chapter going to be? What are you interested in? Do you want to travel? Do you want to do something at home? What is that? And we can start these things from now. Just tap a little bit into it. The week may be too hectic. Use the weekend and tap a little bit into, okay, what brings me joy? And a lot of times people are just be open and curious. There are a lot of knitting. I've seen knitting and crocheting online now. Who would have thought that these things are coming back? So there's always something. You can use the University of YouTube, as I call it, to find something. Be open and curious to find, okay, what brings me joy? And it may change every month, and that's okay too. So that's, oh my gosh, I'm seeing so many comments. Annie, I think we need to introduce some more people. Oh my God, I realize I'm on stage now and freezing.
I agree. This LinkedIn thing is such a pain.
Yeah,
We'll
my
get around
screen
it.
is freezing for some reason.
I don't know who that is. Hello, Dr. Marcia. It's been a long, long time. I was trying to find the LinkedIn, the event page on LinkedIn, so I can actually see who these people are. But I can't see that yet. There's many more to work on there. So with Christiana, we know is here. What's Christiana saying? Battling super flu, and I'm good. That's Natalie, I think. So Christiana, yeah. Hi, battling super flu. How are you and yours? Dr. CJ is here as well. Welcome, Dr. CJ. It was great to see you. So how you all doing? Getting up on your show recently. So who's this LinkedIn user? Oh, this must be my sister Annie. So I just want to bring men into this as we always talk about women, but men can also go through andropause. Their symptoms are different to women's, but I just wanted to bring in the fact that men do and can go through andropause. Men don't understand the female version of menopause. That is a conversation that couples should talk about so they can understand what women go through during the change, so to speak, right? Right.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who this person is. If you've been to my shows before, we talk about andropause all the time. We've had a couple guest speakers talk about andropause, so you could always go back on my profile and look at the events, and you'll actually see. We talked about andropause. I have a lot of newsletters on andropause as well. One thing though, the symptoms are actually almost exact. So they do get hot flashes, they do get mood swings. A lot of the symptoms are exact for both men and women at that time. But yes, you could go on my page and get more information on that.
Cool. Sean, yeah, you're allowed to confess. I have no such confession to make.
Oh, oh my gosh.
I've got better with age. I'm like an old wine. I get better with age. When I was young, I was much more stupid, much more immature, as Dr. Marcia said. Maturity, I think, makes a big difference, right?
Yes.
Yeah, as I said before, grace, but also giving her space, which can be extra challenging because we have a 7-year-old. So that adds a whole other level.
That's a whole other dynamic. But having that awareness is really helpful.
Yeah, having awareness, trying like a few weeks ago, I sent her away. I booked a hotel room and I said, go. Have a personal retreat. Just you. Go be, to touch on what Dr. Marcia was saying about identity. Often we get caught up in identities of the job or wife or mother. And my big focus with her is be Michelle, right? Be you, whatever that looks like. And giving her the grace and the space to have that. Like you said, a lot of people don't know their hobbies or what brings them joy. We've had this discussion and she's like, I don't know. I think I want to learn art, but I don't know. She found a lot of joy in sharing her story, both on Substack, and then she just published her healing journal in English and Spanish. And one day she went out for a walk and comes back and says, I'm writing another book. And I'm like, wait, what? My wife, who's not creative, is going to write another book. But it's brought her a lot of joy, giving her the space, the grace to just breathe, to understand, to have those conversations, like you said, Lisa, when tension is down, when she's not on the roller coaster. Because it is, there's times like her temperature goes off the road. She's like, just get up, don't touch me. But she also has a clue word. She's like, just don't talk to me today. She's like, I'm just letting you know right now, things are not running right. So just give me some space. So she gives me that warning, and I appreciate that.
And that's quite commendable. And you made a point there that I want to touch. Women experience menopause very differently. And I say it because menopause plays out differently in generations. And some persons, I want to say that in my family, menopause does not show up in a way that becomes a burning issue. I don't know if it's because I have a lot of medical doctors and nurses in my family, but the transitions in mood swings are handled much more delicately than in other families that I have seen. But what I have noticed, because I have this burden, this affliction of observing what is not said. And so what I notice as I transition, as I look through, and also in my own life, is that if you love companionship as an individual throughout your life, menopause does not change that. So even when persons feel clustered or hot, they require you to give them the quality attention. What they want from you is to make them tea, is to fluff the pillows, to do those types of things. If that doesn't happen, it can create a tornado in your home that does not go away. It makes you feel that you have gotten a bundle of cord that has no end. And then there is also the person who used to micromanage as a leader in an organization or in the home, where who felt that everything was dependent on him or her does not relinquish that role when they feel fatigued or tired. What they do is that they nitpick even when they ask you to do something for them. When you serve them, they tend to nitpick. So the tea would be too sweet, or you should not, you should have added some sugar, or the water you should have made it boil a little longer, or when you clean the house, that's really not the disinfectant or the thing that you should have used, and why are you sweeping in that direction? So they nitpick. And so what you want to do is to make sure that when you're assisting them, you build up your patience as Job. And as Annie says, you don't take anything personal, and you apologize even when you have not done anything wrong, because people do things different ways. There are also instances where women are going through menopause and they are dealing with their issues, and so they don't want you to treat them as if they are victims, and they don't want you to make any excuses for them. What they want you to do is support them. So today, I'm not just like how your wife says, okay, today is not my best day. I just want to be left alone. Leave her alone. There are some men who nitpick. As Annie says, he does his breakfast himself. Some people want their breakfast. Some men are very helpless, and they want the attention themselves, and they want the breakfast. So they don't understand why things are changing. And so you must grow into change together. You must observe, and you must see what's no longer working for both of you, just like how you would look at the schedule to see what's no longer, or how you can come together when you can take your vacation and so on. It's the same way you want to treat the menopause. Look at what is not working for you, and where you can compromise, where you can collaborate, and where you can simply support from a distance. The same thing in leadership. You're a leader of an organization. You must now realize what triggers you and how you trigger others. And you must structure yourself, whether through journaling or through avoidance. So sometimes you might be confronted, and I want to stick in here that when you're a leader of an organization going through menopause and you're a female and you have a narcissistic team member dealing with, especially if it's a male, you are not able to please them. So you must agree to disagree, and you must firmly state what you are prepared to do and how far you are prepared to go with their dance. And you must create your boundaries now to protect yourself, and know that is really graceful and very aware, because sometimes no, it can be spiteful and can be a vindictive no, but no, that is really thought out and so on. You would firmly and calmly be able to say, I am not able to do this because. And so in the process, you are safeguarding yourself. And so you put a structure in place that has that wall that they know they can't cross. And that's that line that they can't cross. And that means that you have to sit down and connect with yourself. You have to become intimate with yourself. You have to be aware of what triggers you, how you're triggered, what is it why you are triggered, why am I feeling this way, why am I responding this way, and you have to take control. It's not as hard as it sounds, because taking control means that you have a place where you are able to steady yourself, so your emotions don't manage you. You manage your emotions.
Such great points. And I think, again, we need to give ourselves that love and grace to know that these things take time. We say it, and it may sound simple, and it may sound as if we're just saying, just do this, it'll work. It takes time for these things, and we have to give ourselves that love and grace. And okay, it may take us months to get to that point, and that's okay. Everything is a journey. We learn different things along the way. There are lessons to be learned along the way, but we will get there. And working with a coach does help to get there faster or easier. So if you're struggling with these things, and you've been struggling for a while, reach out to one of us and let's have that conversation where we will get there, but give yourself that love and grace, and don't expect, to have it all done in a week. And that point you raised about that power of no, I think that is really important. As women, especially, we think we have to serve everybody, and they come to us with a problem and we have to fix it. We have to do everything, and we end up putting ourselves last, and that's where that self-care becomes important. But saying no, and given that reason why it may not work today, we may have to do it next week. It's not that we don't love you, it's not that we don't want to do it, but right now we can't do it because of XYZ. I think that was a really important point. I am seeing Joni on the stage, and I'm seeing a lot of comments. Or don't we have to not forget that question that Jay had as well?
Yeah. No, so let's hear from Joni, then we'll go to Jay's point.
Yeah. Hi, Joni.
How are you guys? Annie, just like put your earmuffs on. Just walk away. Yeah, there you go. So anyways, I know I am in perimenopause. I know I am. My periods are so heavy. It's so uncomfortable. I've had ultrasounds, like everything looks healthy. So like I've done all the right steps. But I am an emotional mess. I have highs and lows that I haven't had in a while. And my mom's like, no. I didn't go through menopause till 53. You're 43 years old. And I'm like, nope, something's happening. Something is happening. And I did talk to my grandmother before she passed, and she was fully done with her period by 45. And so maybe I just take after my dad's side. Who knows? But it is so painful. The cramps, I haven't had cramps like this in forever. And I'm just like, a period lasts forever. No one tells you about that. I wake up sweating at least 3 nights a week. Like I haven't done that since like college, and when I wake up after drinking or something. And I don't drink. So, but it is so real that it happens at different points in your life, and you really you don't know. And so I talked to my OB about this, and I mean, he could be less than helpful. He was like, well, do you know when you started going into puberty? I'm like, I don't know. And he was like, well, there you go. You don't know when you're going into perimenopause. And I was like, that's very not nice. I was like, something's wrong with my body. And I know it's something to do with my hormone levels. My hormone levels are actually fine, but it does warrant the just a little comment, and to say that, you know, if you think something's going on with your body, like just listen to it. And you can get like healthcare that, like, you know, to check you out. Probably nothing is going to come back, because nothing came back with me, but I know something's up. I know something is up. And so anyways, and also to Sean's point, like just giving a hug and is so nice. You know, it's so wonderful to just like feel like taken care of a little bit. You know, I'm single, so it's kind of hard. You know, like sometimes I ask my dog for a hug. Obviously, my kids do not get this. So they're like, Mom, did you flush the toilet? What?
But I mean, the power of having pets, I think that is brilliant. You know, focus on your pets more. That's fine. You raised a lot of good points, Joni, and this is why the healthcare system still has a lot of work to do, and it's not just America; it's all over the world. We're experiencing this. So you raised one point of you're having these symptoms, but your hormone levels came back normal. And this is why we don't test hormone levels when we're in perimenopause, because that's exactly what happens. If you're going on a day when your hormones are riding on a high, it will come back as normal.
Yeah.
But there are days when it will dip low. So there's no way to tell when you're in perimenopause, when you've started, and we just know that something is wrong when we've noticed enough symptoms going on. So to know
Yeah.
exactly when we started, yeah, he's right with that part. It doesn't happen, okay, day one.
Yeah.
But enough
I'm like, I'm
symptoms
gonna
keep
live for
happening.
this for 10 more years.
It may not be 10 years. Every woman's journey is different. Talking to your mom and grandmom is a good start.
Yeah,
But most of the
Grammy's dead,
clients,
but I did talk to her about it because I was just that type of granddaughter. And I do talk to my mom about it. She's very clinical, and
yeah.
she can't believe it because she was so much older than me.
Yeah, and that
And
is exactly what happens though,
she was
because
like, I once bled through my underwear and tampon and a pad at a dinner with your dad's clients. And I was like, oh
okay, we don't want any to run under the covers, okay? But yeah, these are the things that happen, and then you're experiencing those things, and you have to go into an office and make a presentation, or you have to
it's
go
so
into
hard.
a kitchen
Hard to
and
get to.
work,
I just like
you
it
know.
hurts. It hurts.
Yeah,
Jalon
and we're
hurts.
still expected to show up in the way the company expects us to show up, and that is the difficult thing. So I really appreciate you sharing that. But yeah, just because your mom went through one thing, most of my clients, their experience is totally different. My own experience as well. My mom had one set of symptoms and started late. I started in my 30s, and I'm only now getting hot flashes. Right. So every woman's journey is
Hot
different.
flashes. Oh,
It
the
can last for
sweating
years.
through the sheets. Oh my God. It's so gross. You just wake up, you're like, why am I wet? It's all wet here. Um,
Yeah, and this is a challenge that we have, but yes, there are things we can do. So I would suggest talking to your doctor about going on HRT. If
not
he's not willing to give you, I would suggest switching doctors. And I know for Americans, sometimes it's
well, it's a
difficult.
guy. I don't know.
No,
He's
so
very clinical.
some women will tell you the same thing.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
they're so
depending
clinical
on,
about it, but you're just like, no, it's not clinical. This is my body. Like,
yeah,
I need
it's,
something
yeah.
to help me. But I did also, before I stop talking, there is a great podcast called Hello Hot Flash. And it's
Mm.
an African American girl, but I think she lives in New York City. So an American girl. And she does a fantastic job talking about perimenopause. So it's called Hello Hot Flash. And so I always want to give a shout out to, because I listen to things so much better than
Yeah.
watching things. So.
Okay. Thanks so much, Joni. I really appreciate it. Always welcome anytime. Gosh, I'm seeing another comment and it's from LinkedIn user. Jesus, LinkedIn is going to be the death of these shows. Yeah,
No.
okay. So
Let's do
one
with
of
Jay's question.
okay, yeah. So medical marijuana is being used for different symptoms. It is helpful depending on the symptom. But again, this is why talking to a healthcare provider is important. It depends on the symptom you have, what stage you're at, your age, everything like that, your other health conditions, um, and other medications that you may be on. So I wouldn't suggest just taking it without having that conversation. You may need to do some blood tests, but if the pain is bad, and I know for some people, the joints pain gets really bad, the muscle pain gets really bad. Sometimes you have digestive issues that marijuana can help with. And there are different forms now, which is really good. So yes, there are a lot of edibles, but there are a lot of tinctures. It's come a long way, but have that conversation first, just to make sure that you do all the right tests and make sure everything is safe before you go that route. But I wouldn't say it's contrary to self-care. I would say it's part of that self-care, part of your healthcare regimen. But have the conversation first just to make sure everything is okay and there's not something else that's causing the pain that you could possibly do something about before going this route.
hopefully you've answered the question. Jay, if you want more, my friend, connect with Dr. Lisa and have a conversation with her.
Yeah, you're gonna get me in trouble by calling me Dr. Lisa.
I just want to
Yeah.
say now, April, condolences, my friend, condolences to you. Yeah, so
And sometimes,
Yeah, definitely.
Lisa, as you talk about doing those tests and so on, you want to look at what is the alternative in relation to your diet and what it is that you're contending with, because a lot of persons rush towards a new dispensation for ease or for comfort or so on, but there each person based on the research reacts on average differently to that type of treatment. And so the symptoms can be a change in your mood or in or sleep patterns. And so if, for example, you resort or you are that is a recommendation, a strong recommendation, you still need to, after you have passed those tests, look at how you are responding, and that is where it would come into self-care. It becomes contrary to self-care if, when you attempt to use it for the reasons given, you find that you are not sleeping, because the lack of sleep in menopause, and I am not the expert here, so I stand corrected, Lisa. They say can increase apnea. And so, and that in itself can become something challenging for persons who are undergoing menopause. And so you want to look at the patterns, how it changes sleep patterns and how it regulates your mood, because some people it alters your mood and it alters your sleep pattern. And if you don't pay attention and manage that, it can become contrary to your self-care.
Yeah, and that's why I think Jay made the distinction of medical marijuana. So it's not just you going somewhere and buying it on your own. It's part of a healthcare regimen. And for certain things, and you would have heard me say it before on this platform, it should always be a doctor working with a doctors aren't trained in nutrition, dietitians are. So it should really be a team, depending on what your health condition is, to work hand in hand. And then if your pain is so great, and I know for some people, they can't even get out of bed because of the pain, the physical pain. And going on certain medications could be more harmful. It could react with other medications. It could cause stomach bleeds and a whole set of different things that you don't get with the medical marijuana. And for most people, it actually helps them with sleep a lot better. It certainly did for me. I have had several surgeries on my spine and on my joints and stuff. And medical marijuana has helped me and it's helped my sleep. But again, talking to your doctor about it, making sure you do all the blood checks, making sure it's not going to react with different things, doing it in a controlled way so you get a dosage, you try it for a while and see how your body responds to it. So that's why we're focusing on medical marijuana so that it's part of your regimen. So thanks for that. I'm seeing another comment from LinkedIn user again.
And
Okay, well,
there's a
we'll
few
get it.
more.
We'll get it. Yeah.
Yeah, so some people practice not having any hobbies or extra activities, and they lose their
Yeah.
identity along the way, says Christiana. I'm sure you agree.
Definitely, yeah.
It's a mistake to make, right? It's a mistake. We can do better. So I see that as a gift, Dr. Marcia. I don't, Sean, help me out here. What do you see as a gift?
I think that was a lot early in the conversation.
Yes.
It was when Dr. Marcia was talking about she reads underneath the word, like because I have the same thing. I call it emotional X-ray vision, to actually not just the words, but to actually understand what's going
What is
on
not
deep.
said. Mm.
Yeah, what they're not saying, what's really going on.
Reading between the lines, another way, right? I don't. Again, my husband has no clue about menopause. That's a man. That's andropause, right? Thanks me. Okay,
Hey,
I don't know who that is.
do you know any women in your life that have gone through menopause?
Yeah, and I said no, to my
Yeah?
wife.
Let's share. Let's share
I
Yeah,
that.
have. I
he had
always
talked
do.
about it earlier. He had talked
Yeah.
about his experiences with his wife earlier. So we
Oh,
Mm.
you
go
did.
back
You
and
already
watch the
shared.
replay.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll re-listen.
I think
Yeah.
that's my foster mother, so my stepmother, and she broke up with everyone.
I didn't,
So,
but like as a kid, you don't realize. Like you just don't
no,
realize why
but
your mom is being so hormonal and angry.
no, but I think it's left to dads to try and shield our kids from, the
Well, you
the
don't want to talk about
hurricane.
menopause to your kids, but I mean, actually, you know me. I'll talk about anything.
No, I think I don't have to explain in so much detail. It's more trying to find peace because we know when the eruption is going to happen. Almost, when she comes through the door from work, for example. So it's a case of right. Make sure everything's tidy. Make sure you've done what you're meant to do. Don't leave the sink full of rubbish. Make sure
No, exactly.
all those things are done, and then even when we still get barked at, regardless, you just have to say, oh well, and then like I say, when the house gets full of stuff, he gets very upset by this stuff because we have clowns outside the front of our house. By the way, people come around to actually look at our house, take pictures. He's like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, no, get over it. Get over it. It's not your problem. It's what she wants to do, and she can, right? Get over it. So it's just being sensitive to all parties. I think that's what I try and do. You
Good.
try and
Well, it's hard, especially for a young man to like understand that. It's hard. But I remember calling my dad at his office, landline to landline, and being like, Dad, it's one of those days. Like you might want to pick up some flowers on the way home. I didn't know anything better than that. And he would. I was like, I won't tell that I said anything about this. And then it would calm down a little bit.
Yeah, and it's little things like that. I suppose it's not a big biology lesson for the kids. It's just it's I guess recognizing some signs and showing the grace and giving mum space, as Sean said. It comes down to that really, and so that buys everyone peace. It buys everyone another night.
Yeah, there's a very interesting science. I guess it was a limited podcast, but it wasn't really. It was like 2 off, but about that killer whales have menopause, and they were able to track it because the grandmothers at that time, the pod grandmother would come in and take care of the calves, and because the mother was so angry and she might kill the calves. And I was like, I identify with this mother. But it's really interesting. They didn't do a lot of studies on perimenopause or menopause on, mammals other than humans, and it's shown that when they go through menopause, it is a interesting thing. So, look up killer whales menopause.
I can see Sean wants to say something, so I'll let you speak, Sean. You're still muted. Yeah, you're free now. You're good.
You got to tune that receiver there, Annie, because I'm just listening and nodding along right now.
Yeah, Annie, don't forget, I have another meeting to go to, so I really want to get to the questions.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me. I'm the one behind the scenes. They can't even see me. So Sean, I suppose I'll let you say your thing on your comment.
Well, as I shared in the comments, right, as husbands, as males in organizations, just giving them support, understanding that this is a biological process, and it happens, and there's nothing we can do about it, except as men we can support and give the women in our life, whether it's subordinates or teammates or spouses, etc., give them the support. This way we can not only preserve their leadership, we can actually unlock their next level of impact. This comes from a lot of the research I'm doing on the book I'm working on right now, which is Reborn at 50. So I've been looking at a lot of this stuff about midlife is not the wind up. It can be the launch pad.
For sure. Yeah. Okay.
I like that. I really love that topic. I think it doesn't matter 50, 40, 60, whatever age it hits you, where you want to just kind of reinvent yourself, whether it be hormones or experience. I think that is, it's okay. It's wonderful. And I have that same feeling.
Yeah, so Sean says things beautifully. Christine, I see you as well. Welcome. I don't know if this is a question, so I have to be honest.
You forgot to mention Professor Roxana. I know you had it on the screen. But...
Did I forget to mention? Well, mentally,
yeah, you had it on the screen, but you didn't see it. Yeah.
Okay, I mentioned this. Welcome, Professor Roxana, my co-author, an amazing author of many books. And Dr. Marcia, you write one book and you suddenly get addicted, and you have to write more books, right? So now Dr. Roxana has written 4 books in a year. So there's more to come, by the way. I'm just telling you, right? How you doing, Prof? Great to see you. So I know you're back at school again, so it's a bit harder to find time. Sean says we start every day with a 20-second hug. Oh, that's so sweet. I think my wife would say, "No, leave me alone."
Yes.
My wife would say, "No, leave me alone." My son tries it. She's like, "Man, leave me alone." Whatever. What's the thermostat malfunction, Sean?
When 1 minute she's freezing, the next hour she's like, don't stand within 10 feet of me.
Yes.
That's exactly
I just look at her, I go, oh, is the thermostat malfunctioning? We make a little light of things because, we know that it's not fun. I can see that gift or burden, as Dr. Marcia called it, is that I can see the burden she's carrying. Even if she won't speak it, I can see the discomfort, how miserable she is.
But sure. it is literally a thermostat malfunction. That's literally what it is.
Yeah. Again, I don't know who the LinkedIn user is. I have to be honest. I had first part of hysterectomy at 24.
It's Annie.
Okay, but it pushed me into early menopause. I didn't understand why I had mood swings or why I got so angry, less patient, crying all the time. It wasn't until I got the help I needed that I was able to learn that I wasn't crazy, not really me. It was out of my control, as Sean's just saying, but going through menopause at 25. I got help in dealing with my body, changing my diet, had a lot to do with it. And it's also, I'm diabetic as well. So talking to those around you, I guess, who can understand helps, right? And that's probably how that ends.
Yeah. I'm
trying to find the question you're looking for.
No, I just wanted to comment. That's the comment I wanted to just touch on. And this is why when doctors talk about it's too early for menopause, it's comments like these that we have to remember. Yes, natural menopause usually happens around the age of 45 to 51, but there's some people that go into surgical menopause, having a partial or a total hysterectomy, or you could go into chemical menopause depending on the medications you're on, or if you're having breast cancer treatments. So it can shove your body into menopause, and that's the nicest way I can see it, right? 1 minute you're good, literally the next day after the surgery, your body is shoved into menopause. And a lot of doctors don't tell women this, and they literally think they're going crazy. So I just wanted to acknowledge that comment. That experience is very common, unfortunately, and it's why we keep having these conversations to bring more awareness. Because being in at 25 and having to have your body heal from the trauma of that surgery, because it's a major surgery, and most doctors don't send these patients to a dietitian so that the body heals properly. And then if you're going into menopause, and she talked about being a diabetic, menopause also causes uncontrolled blood sugars, blood pressures, cholesterol issues, right? So you can be not a diabetic one day and a diabetic the next day, basically. And having to deal with all of that, and then having to show up as a leader in whatever job you're at, it could be really, really challenging. So I just wanted to thank Annie for sharing her experiences and being open to sharing it. It is important. So thanks for that.
Thank you, Annie. Joni, I'll let you explain this one if you wish. Yeah. What's my feet hurt?
Oh, well, we were talking like weird parts of your body just ache, and my neck aches, and my bottom of my feet ache, and it's just it happens right around my cycle, and so that's it's weird. It feels weird. Like I'm not changing anything, so that's
and that's just the fluctuations of the hormones.
It is something weird, but and then also I drink a lot of pickle juice during that time.
Does it help?
She likes a pickle juice.
I love pickle juice like nobody's business. But I think it's like the potassium, sodium. Obviously, my body craves.
Yeah. So it could be electrolytes that you're not balanced around that time. So you may have to change your diet a bit when it's around your cycle.
I might have to change my diet a little bit. I don't eat enough, but I work out regularly, and it feels better like to work out than to be sedentary. So anyways.
Yeah, but if you're working out, then you have to make sure you're getting enough nutrients, especially after the workout, so that you're not depleting yourself further.
So like at like 3 a.m. when I'm just like blood clot, great. I'm gonna have some turnips and beets. Yes.
I'm seeing the question from Christy. Recommend supplements. So again, it's an individualized basis depending on what your blood work shows. But generally, I think everyone should be on omega-3 supplement. Yes, you can get it from food, but our bodies don't really absorb enough from food. So even if you're eating a lot of salmon or walnuts or whatever it is, your bodies still doesn't absorb enough that you need. Especially if it's stressed out a lot, you need a lot more omega-3. So if it's one thing I tell people, get an omega-3 supplement, and there are vegan options as well. But also to test for things like magnesium, zinc, vitamin D, and B12. Do a blood test and see if you're low in those, because coming out of COVID, a lot of people still work indoors and work from home. A lot of us are walking around and very low in vitamin D, and vitamin D affects a lot of our body's processes, including things like mood changes. So checking your vitamin D levels. Most of my clients are on a vitamin D supplement. With vitamin D, you have to take is D3 and K2. But I talk to your pharmacist about these things. Pharmacists are trained in supplements. But yeah, so test your magnesium levels, zinc, vitamin D, B12. Even meat eaters are low in B12 sometimes. And definitely if you can, get an omega-3 supplement as your sort of base, and then test for other things depending on what your condition is. You're too high from a lack of sleep. So yes, sleep is important. It can affect our hormone levels, not just cortisol, but I'm not sure when you're referring to, because cortisol is naturally higher when we wake up. It's supposed to be high when we wake up. But yes, if our sleep is destroyed, or we're not getting enough sleep, enough restful sleep, some of my clients, they get the hours, but it's not quality sleep. They're not going through those REM cycles. So yes, lack of sleep can affect everything about your body. Chocolate, yes, dark chocolate especially. Not just for mood swings, but for it's had a lot of health benefits, including things like cancer. So if you can have a square of 2 of dark chocolate every day, it's very helpful.
See, I have the dark chocolate actually buys was because I don't eat it. I don't eat it. It's too bitter for my liking, so it stays longer in the house. But now you're telling me there's a reason for it.
It is better, a better choice than the milk chocolate, which tends to have more sugars. Dark chocolate has more of the antioxidants, but you can pair it with like cherries or strawberries, whatever you get your hands on. Pairing it with a sweeter fruit is a good idea. So what I usually tell clients is have a bit of like dark chocolate, pumpkin seeds, and some fruits together, and it sort of mellows out the bitterness of the dark chocolate. And usually after like a few months, clients are eating dark chocolate on its own because they've gotten accustomed to the taste.
Yeah, that's Sean. Keep your shares in Cadbury's. It's fine. These are agreed. Right. Another one. Evening primrose oil.
Evening primrose oil helps some women and doesn't help others. That one you really have to try it and see if it works for you. Give all medications, all supplements. You should give it at least 3 months to figure out if it works for you. But yeah, evening primrose, it's sort of a gamble. It helps some and it doesn't help others. It's not a guarantee.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that one.
So try to remember, everyone has a different journey. So if you're not having debilitating symptoms, I mean, that's excellent. But of course, your foundation should always be a good balanced diet where we're getting enough nutrients. If we need to take multivitamins, that's not a problem, because some people, it depends on the access they have to food. Affordability is a factor as well. So whatever works for you, I think, is always the good part. And it's not for me to judge whether, something, because what works for you may not work for other people. So if whatever you're doing is working for you right now and you're able to function, you have a good quality of life, you're getting enough sleep, you're not in pain from menopause, then it's a good thing.
Excellent. Sean says his
Okay.
wife.
This is with Rett syndrome, yeah. And if that works for her, that works for her. Just keep doing it, yeah.
Yeah, and the dark chocolates and the almonds, as you said. So
it's a good combination, especially at night as well. The compounds in the almonds will help with sleep as well. Yeah.
Excellent. Welcome, Mr. David Jones,
Hi.
Mr. Metaverse Man. I'm glad you're here.
I don't know what time it is in is it Thailand? I cannot remember.
Is it in Thailand? No, I thought it's in the US. No, it's
no,
in the
he
other parts
moved us a couple months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember the country. I think it's Thailand.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is our last comment, I think. So let's
yeah,
begin.
everyone else was saying hi and thank you. So yeah.
So thank you, everyone. Dr. Marcia, we lost you. I'm glad you came back.
Yeah,
I'll let you. So please, I have the mic. To tell us what you want to leave us with.
Yeah, if you could tell us about your latest book for a couple of minutes before we sign off. Yeah.
Okay, so this is my latest book, My Faith Looks Up. And it is on Amazon, it's on Ingram Spark, Barnes and Noble, Kobo, Goodreads. And so I am encouraging everyone to go out and get their copy. If you want to upgrade your faith and have it intact to serve you for all seasons. It's really filled with experiences. It's filled with practicality, and it also helps you to discern God's purpose in the middle of pressure and find strength when you're tired of being strong and reignite your courage. It also helps you to lead with resilience, clarity, and confidence. And so, if you want to build unshakable faith that makes you survive in your life and your leadership, this upgrade is important and it is very economical. So, I hope I get the support so we can make this a bestseller. That's what I say. And I also want to say to leaders who are going through menopause, this book is good for you to balances your emotions and gets your mind in the right place. Thanks for having me. It was my delight. Very beneficial, very eye-opening, and very, very instructive for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The book is bigger than I thought it was. I bought the ebook. Say that there is the sample you can read on Amazon, and I think that's what convinced me that there's useful knowledge in the book.
Because I have a page. I have a page for your personal thoughts because I give strategies. I teach strategies right there. I tell you how to overcome for each chapter. So the weight of waiting, I ask you questions that would I give you this page for you to use. So I wanted it to have that size so you could write. You could actually journal.
Okay, so it's A4 size. It looks like, right?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay. Great book. Great book, my friend. Let's talk, Dr. Marcia. I'll tell you how to get bestseller. It's a strategy. It's a plan. I'll tell you how
Please
to
leave the link in the comments as well.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
So,
well, we have gone over time.
You don't say. I told you carry on talking. I would just stand here and let you do your thing.
Yes, right? But we need to wrap. Yeah, I'm very late for my meeting.
So
But
thank
I
you all.
appreciate. Yes.
Says Annie, I appreciate I'm diabetic from 80 years old, so it's very difficult to try to balance my hormones and sugars. But we can get through it. That's the point, right, Annie? That's the point.
Once you get the right support, you can get through anything. I believe so.
Yes, for sure. No. I appreciate you, Christy. Excellent
Hey,
show. Of course,
Lisa.
has been on stage.
I am not seeing myself on screen. I am.
Oh, Lisa,
Oh,
question.
okay.
So I think maybe one thing you could discuss in a future podcast is the good effects that getting an IUD can be on perimenopause, because I think it lessens the progesterone levels in your uterus, and so and it's not a bad thing. It's potentially a good option.
I will look into it. Thanks for that.
Look into it. IUD progesterone.
Yep, I will write it down. Okay. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you so much, Love Bug. Okay.
Thank you. All right. So that's everyone. We got through everyone. Unless Sean wants to say something before we go. Sean?
Just a simple thank you for this discussion. Thank you for having me on stage. And let's keep talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for coming to share with us, Sean.
Yes,
you definitely. You saved me for sure.
As if you're so stressed, I don't understand.
Yeah, of course not. Sean, you're a star, my friend. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. My friends, everyone in the we appreciate your time we spent with us and all the 25 LinkedIn users. Which is Charito, Christy, and everyone else. These things happen, right? This is technology for you.
Yeah, and I keep losing you all. It's telling me I have a weak signal. So before I lose the show. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for the engaging discussion in the comments. It was just, I'm reading the comments and I'm just like so impressed with the engagement. Thank you for Joni and Sean who came on stage, and a special thank you to Dr. Marcia for giving your wisdom. I really appreciate it. I knew it would have been a great discussion. And thank you, Annie, of course, for always supporting me in these shows. We will be back next 2 weeks where we will I think it's, let me just check. I think that's close to our anniversary. I'm not sure, but oh no, we have Dr. Tanya on that show because the Work-Life Balance Summit is coming up. So we'll share a little bit about that. So please join us next 2 weeks on Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, where we will talk about menopause again. Please share
Yes.
the event, reshare it with your friends, colleagues, anybody you think will need to hear the message.
Yeah,
Thanks so much again.
does Tanya coming second time? I mean, that's a record, right? I know she normally talks holistic wellness. So I mean,
Yes,
that's what she's
yes,
going to talk about as well.
yes. So it's very fitting that she'll be here and I'll be in the summit as well. So excited to talk to her.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
someone send me a link. If you're there, send me a link.
Oh,
Let's hear
definitely. Yeah.
what you have to say. Enjoy your night, my friend. I got book launch tomorrow. Do join us.
Yeah.
The one thing we were gonna do is die. So let's learn how to prepare before we die.
What a
And
way to
before
end
our
the show.
family
Thanks, Annie.
It's how I
We're
got to
all going to
celebrate.
die.
The truth.
Oh, have a good night, everyone.
Bye
Take
everyone.
care.
Bye everyone. Bye. You meant to play now. Why are you not playing?
She's success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with the without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.